Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Appalachian Home Co. So in today's video, I thought it would be fun to make these rhinestone decals. These are super fun, they're super pretty, and they're an upgrade from just regular decals. So I'm going to show you everything you're going to need, all the materials you're going to need to make these. I'm also going to be using the Cricut Maker, but you can use any cutting machine to make these. So we're going to go ahead and jump on into the video and get started. Okay, so first I'm going to be using these Hotfix Rhinestones. These you can get from several places. You can get them from Rhinestone World, from Rhinestone Warehouse. I think I got these from Rhinestone Warehouse. These are size SS10, which is what I mainly use. I'm going to be using this blue color. This is called Blue Opal, and it just has a sparkly blue finish on those. For the gold, I'm going to be using the champagne color. You can see the gray backs on these rhinestones. That is the iron-on material. So that's what's going to be sticking when we iron these onto our decal material. Now I have some material that I'm going to use to actually cut out my rhinestone templates. This is known as a couple different things. The Rhinestone World calls it Magic Flock, and they have their own brand you can purchase from them. Some people have also called it Sticky Flock. I think I got this from a company called Synergy, but I will link that down below. But it's an adhesive material, and it's almost like velvet on the front, so that when you cut out your templates, this material is going to allow you to place those rhinestones very easily. You're also going to need some heat transfer tape. Now this is kind of like transfer tape, only it can withstand the heat of a heat press. I think it's actually what it is called is Hotfix tape. So it is transfer tape, but it is transfer tape that can be used in a heat press. This is not regular vinyl transfer tape like I use in most of my videos. And then lastly, I am going to use this material. This is actually the decal material. It is clear, it has an adhesive back, but you can iron things to this material. So this is what we're gonna actually be ironing our Hotfix Rhinestones to. People refer to this sometimes as bling anything. I'm also going to be using this sponge to actually place the rhinestones in my Magic Flock. This is just going to help smooth them out. And then I'm going to be using my regular standard grip mat to do all of the cutting with. And then of course last I'm going to be using my Cricut Maker with the fine point blade to cut everything out with today. You will also need some sort of pressing mat, and I'm using my Cricut Easy Press to do this today, and it's going to be set on 320. Now I'm in Cricut Design Space. The particular file that I'm going to be using to cut this out, I actually purchased from Etsy, so I'm just dragging that into my Design Space program. I just go to Upload, Browse, and then I dragged that in from where I'd saved it on my computer. So there's 3 separate files that came with this particular design. I'm going to be just using the mom part, and what I'm going to be doing is just dragging this soccer ball over to this first one, as you'll see here in a minute. But I'm going to go ahead and change the color because I'm going to be using blue for the M and then gold for the outer rhinestones. This is just going to be the outline part, and then also blue for the soccer ball. Now you want to make sure that this particular design is going to fit for the size SS10 rhinestones. I'm just going to select one of these images and go into contours, and it's going to pop up with all of the little round circles that you see here. What you want to do is you want to hide all of your contours. Then you want to look over to the left of your screen and make sure that that circle size is 0.13 inches. If you are using SS10 rhinestones, if you're using a different size of rhinestone, then this number is going to be different. If that's the case, you can simply hit the X at this top of the screen here, and then it will only show one of those circles in your design. You can then change the size of that circle up at the top of your screen where your dimensions are to whatever size you need to fit your rhinestones. I hope that makes sense, but mine is correct. 0.13 is the correct size for SS10 rhinestones. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to turn back show all contours and then just X out of this box. I know that everything is sized perfectly and I can continue cutting these out. Now I want to go ahead and remove the soccer letters. I don't want my design to include that, so I'm just drawing a rectangle large enough to cover that part of the design on both the outline part and the inside decal. So once I have that, I'm going to select the rectangle and the design together, and I'm going to hit slice, and that's going to allow me to remove the letters of soccer and leave the M's and leave the soccer ball. So now I'm duplicating this gold outline and I'm moving it over the blue design because I want to kind of line this blue soccer ball up with the blue M's. I just want to make one cut for my blue rhinestones instead of two separate ones. So I just place that gold outline around those M's so that I can line everything up so that when it cuts out, it's going to line up perfectly. Then I can just delete that gold outline after everything is lined up. Now I'm going to resize those gray weeding boxes to fit my designs. Then I'm going to attach everything together. I'm going to attach all the same colors together. Then I'll be ready to cut this out on the Cricut. Now this next step is completely optional and it also takes more design work, so I'm not going to include how I did it in this video, but I created an offset that was slightly larger than this gold design, and this is what I'm going to use to cut out of the actual decal material. After your decal is finished, you can simply take scissors and cut around it, but I'm actually going to create an offset to make my Cricut cut around it so that it's a super neat cut. I'm going to show you how I cut it out, but I'm not going to show you how I designed it. I went into Inkscape and just created an offset. If you guys are interested on how I do that, I can make a separate video. But I uploaded that offset into Design Space and just resized it just a little bit larger than this gold design. And I'm leaving this gray because I'm actually going to cut that out of the Bling Anything material or the decal material. So now we're ready to cut everything out. Now for this Bling Anything or the decal material, I'm using a pressure of 250 and a 1x cut. I'm just cutting out a piece that's big enough for my decal, and then I'm just going to use a fine point blade and cut this out first. Now for the Magic Flock material, I first placed it on the mat with the backing on, and then I used a setting of 375 at a 1x cut, but that didn't work, so you'll see here in a minute I'm going to remove the backing, place it on my mat, and then use different settings. Okay, so this was the second try on this flock material. My blade was really dull on my machine, so I tried a setting of 220 for a 2x cut. So it actually cut it out twice at a setting of 220. So now I'm going to remove this, and another trick I did, I applied this directly, the sticky side directly to my mat. So now you can see it's pulling away much better. It's pulling away perfectly. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull all of this away. Once you have both of your rhinestone templates cut out, you can just place them on any hard surface. I'm just placing mine here on my table. And now I'm going to open my bag of rhinestones and go ahead and place these. I'm going to start with these gold ones. I'm just spreading them out all over the decal. You don't have to put these in any certain order. You just want a lot. And now I'm just going to use that sponge, and you want to rub in large circles all the way around your template. This sponge is just going to automatically place these little rhinestones in these little holes. They're going to be right side up. It's kind of magic the way this works, but it does work. The circular motion is going to remove any of the ones that are upside down, and then you just take your sponge and kind of work all the ones that are right side up in there until you get done. This surprisingly does not take that long. It took me like 5 minutes on this first one and about the same amount of time on the next one. After I get all of this first color done, I'm going to go ahead and use the transfer tape on top. Again, I am using heat transfer tape. This is the Hotfix tape that you can use in a heat press. And I'm just dropping this down straight on top of those rhinestones. Once you make contact, you want to make sure not to move it. You just want to go ahead and place the rest of it, or you'll get everything out of order. But once these are affixed, you can go ahead and remove them, and they're all going to come up really easy. This transfer tape really sticks well to these rhinestones. And once I have that done, I'm just going to pop that back on the backing that came off the Hotfix tape. And then I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one. Okay, so I have both of my decals, rhinestone decals, done. They're ready to press onto my actual decal backing material. This is the material that you can press onto, and it has the adhesive back. I did go ahead and cut out an offset for this. I'm going to show you. I'm just going to pull the outer edge off of it. Okay, so I have the outer edge removed. It's hard to see on here, but the clear part that's left is in the shape of the mom decal. You can kind of see it there. So now I'm going to line this first layer up with the offset decal material, and then I'm just going to press it. I'm going to be using my easy press today. You can use a heat press, but I'm just using my 9-inch easy press. I've got it set on 320. I'm going to be pressing the first one for 10 seconds. And since this decal is longer than my actual heat press, I'm going to be pressing twice on each decal. So I'll show you how to do that, but I'm going to go ahead and line the first layer up, press that, and then we will do the second rhinestone decal. Something I forgot to mention is I will be using this Teflon sheet to protect the entire decal while I'm pressing. I'm also going to be removing this extra heat tape material that I've got over the top. I don't want it to press to my Teflon sheet. And now I'm just pressing 2 separate times on each end of the decal for 10 seconds. I'm using really light pressure. You don't have to press hard at all. And then once that's finished, you just want to let it cool a little bit, and I'm just going to remove this transfer tape slowly. A few of these wanted to pop up a little bit, but all in all, this turned out great, and I didn't have any trouble with the rhinestones coming up. And now I'm just placing that middle layer right in the center of the outline, and I'm going to flip this over this time to really make sure the backs of those rhinestones adhere really well to the decal material. As I'm removing this heat transfer tape, some of the decal did adhere to it, and that's totally normal. I'm just holding down the corners while I'm pulling this off, but the rhinestones did stick really well. Now I'm just going to place this on my car. It does stick really well. I'm just cleaning it with some alcohol first, and I'm going to remove the backing and stick that straight to my car. This is not a super tacky material, but it does stick well to smooth surfaces like windows, but it is easily removed if you decide to remove it. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video and got some new ideas for decals. These are great selling decals. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope to see you back again soon in my next video.